When painting in textures like these skin wrinkles, using shields or freehand techniques are both viable options. Either one can be used at any time, and neither is right or wrong for any part of your painting. It's all just personal preference. But as we talked about in last week's video, shields like a ripped piece of paper gives us a very sharp edge, which could be useful in a lot of situations. So let's talk about these two techniques, and I'll go over my thought process of why I'll use a shield for some parts of a painting, and other times I'll just paint it in freehand. If you take a look at my completed painting on the left side of the screen, you'll notice that there's a very sharp edge along the outside of the portrait, separating it from that white background. There's nothing wrong with painting this in freehand, but for me, I want a very sharp and defined line. So what I'm going to use for this is Frisket film, which is a type of shield. You could buy Frisket film in individual sheets, or you can buy it in large rolls. That's what I do, so I always have a lot of it on hand. So I cut out a small piece of this Frisket film and just laid it on the left side of the painting where I want to mask off an area. Then I'm using an X-Acto blade to cut out this mask, separating the portrait from the background, and I'm just following my initial drawing, which I sketched in using a pencil. Once that Frisket film is removed, the left side of it now acts as a shield, which masks off an area where I don't want paint, which is that white background. So here I'm switching over to my airbrush and I'm spraying in the flesh tone that we mixed in the first part of this video. I just want to spray a small amount of it along this edge. I don't want this too dark just yet, so I'm being careful not to spray too much paint. And now as I remove this Frisket film, we get a very sharp outline. This outline isn't going anywhere, so I can now paint around it, focusing in on the wrinkles and textures within this area. And within this area, I'll be using shields and freehand techniques to paint in the details. And this goes back to that macro and micro concept that I talked about last week. You might be wondering why I removed the Frisket film so early, because overspray from the area that I'm working on now is definitely going to get into that background. And that's true, some overspray will, but I don't mind it. For my painting, the goal of that Frisket was just to get in a sharp line, not to keep the background perfectly clean. If a small amount of overspray gets onto that background, it's really not going to affect anything. It's going to be so subtle that you won't even notice it. But if this is something that bothers you, or you're working on something where you need it to be completely clear of paint, you could just leave the mask on the whole time while you're painting. But when I'm painting, I find it very difficult to see and judge my values when a mask is still on. Whether it's Frisket film or 3M vinyl tape, I always like to get it off as soon as possible so that I could see my painting clearer. And honestly, this is all just personal preference. You just want to paint the way that you're most comfortable. If you look at this fold of skin, there's two major edges on it. One is very sharp, which I just painted in using a shield, and the other to the right is a lot softer. So in order to get this in soft, this is a perfect time to use the airbrush freehand. As I spray this in, I'm first trying to get a thin layer of paint in this whole area, and then I'll just focus some more paint into the darker areas within this shadow. This gives us that gradient from a dark value moving up to a light value. And at this point, you could just see the major differences between the two. The shield just gives us that really sharp, defined outline, and then this area is just much softer. We're still going to have a defined edge on it, but it's just a bit more subtle. And in order to define that edge on this softer transition, it's really simple. All we're going to do is switch over to an eraser, and I'm just going to erase above it where the highlight's going to be. I'll just take my time erasing this out, moving the eraser around a few different passes over it to just keep removing more paint. That eraser just helps blend that shadow into the highlight above it and just gives a more seamless transition. Above that darker shadow, I noticed that there's two very soft creases or wrinkles in the skin here. And since they're so soft, again, I'm going to paint these in freehand. Just like using the ripped piece of paper that I talked about last week, all I'm doing here is painting in the shadow for each one of these creases. Subtlety is the key here, so I want to keep these soft and light, so I'm doing the best I can to just not spray too much paint. And just like sharp, defined wrinkles or creases, softer ones are also going to have highlights as well. So I'm switching over to the eraser and erasing out the highlight to the left of each one of these shadows which is where the light source is coming from. And then of course, adjust that whole macro area by spraying more paint if I need, or erasing out some areas to lighten it up. And as I move along within this portrait, I'm going to be using both techniques. I noticed a very thin wrinkle here that's sharp, so I'm using a ripped piece of paper as my shield. I noticed another one just above it, so I'm going to use that same piece of paper, just lightly spray over it and get that in. So as you're working on any sort of painting, I think that it's always best to combine a bunch of different techniques. That's why it's so important to practice, learn from others, and just try to build up a collection of tricks. The more knowledge you have and the more tricks you have available to you makes the painting process easier, because as you approach a new problem in a painting, which you will, you'll have something to reach for. And of course, let's not forget the other tool that we talked about in the first part of this painting tutorial. That's of course just a skin texture template that you make with a piece of paper with some holes poked out in it. And when you spray over this, you get a bunch of small random dots on your painting. And these small dots help break up that very smooth texture that we get from an airbrush. So let's move along to the nose and combine the three techniques together: a shield for sharp lines, freehand for soft, and of course a skin texture template. I'll zoom in on my completed painting so you can see the nose a bit better and what we're working towards. When I'm looking at the nose, the first thing I notice are the sharp outlines along the bottom where the nostrils are. Since these lines are so sharp, I want to use a shield for this. So instead of using Frisket, I'm just going to use an airbrush shield. There's nothing wrong with using Frisket for this. If you feel more comfortable with that, go for it. But I know that I'm going to be doing this pretty quickly, so a shield is just the best choice for me. Airbrush shields rarely fit a curve perfectly, so you'll just see me kind of moving this around and switching off between different shields, just spraying on the edge, following my line drawing to get the shadow underneath the nose. So the shield worked fine to get in the sharp lines, but now I notice that there's a subtle, softer gradient right underneath the left part of this nostril. So if it's soft, I paint it in freehand, and since this paint is transparent, I'm not going to lose that sharp line just above it. It's going to stay there. Some of my lines were a bit too long, so I'm just using an eraser here to clean up the edges. Now let's take a look at this shadow just above the left nostril. Because it's so soft, I'm going to paint it in freehand, just trying to follow the curve of the nose here, lightly spraying paint on there to get that in. I'm using that natural overspray from the airbrush to get in the surrounding areas. This way it makes it a bit smoother and a bit more seamless. Overspray is not always a bad thing when painting with an airbrush. If you're using transparent colors like I'm doing here, sometimes that overspray can be used to your advantage. Some of that paint just lightly builds up in the areas surrounding the part that I'm working on, and it just kind of helps pull everything together. Now, as I move along to the right, I want to get in these sharp lines below the nose, so I'm using a few different shields and just moving it around, spraying over it. And then for those soft shadows on the nose, I just paint them in freehand, always looking at my reference to help guide me. At this point, we have the nose painted in, but it just looks way too smooth for me. So this is a perfect time to use a texture template. I'm going to start on the right side of the nose, place this on it, then lightly spray some paint over it. Every time I spray a small amount of paint over the shield, I always remove it just to see what it looks like underneath. I just want to make sure that I'm not spraying too much paint or too little, and also that I'm getting an even coat of this texture along the outside parts of the nose where it starts to shift over toward the shadow. And just a small amount of that texture really helps to break up that smooth airbrush look. And then of course the other tool that I always use is the eraser. Not only is the eraser used to erase out the highlights and bring out brighter areas in the painting, it also adds texture. So starting on the left side of the nose, I'll just erase out in small circular motions just to brighten up the areas that I want to be a bit lighter. If anything gets too light, just go back to the airbrush with that flesh tone, spray it over the top. Also, to add some variety to this texture, I'm just going to spray in a few dots with the airbrush freehand. Since these dots are freehand, they're going to be softer. And this technique is basically the same as using the skin texture template, but it's a lot slower because you're spraying individual dots, and each one of these is going to be much softer. So for this type of texture, using a shield or freehand techniques are all just personal preference. So at this point, I would say that the nose is pretty much done. So I'm going to move over to the right side of the face and paint in this cheek. And for this side of the face, I'm speeding through it because it's the exact same process over and over of using shields for sharp lines, freehand for soft, and the airbrush shield for some skin texture. And then once those are in, switch over to the eraser to pull out the highlights and also add a bit more texture. So let's move along to the final part of this portrait tutorial, which is going to be the mouth, and I'll walk you through the process that I used to paint it in. Just like how I started painting the nose, I wanted to first add in a defined reference point, so I used my shield to paint in this sharp shadow just below the upper lip. And I'm still using the flesh tone for this part of the painting. I will use some scarlet later to glaze over the top, but for now, just keep it simple. Before I go any further, I'm using a ripped piece of paper to paint in the shadows for these creases and wrinkles just above the upper lip. And remember to go slow with this because it looks like I'm doing this so fast in this video just because I have it sped up, but I assure you I'm always taking my time and working slowly. And then once these lines are in, I could use the same piece of paper and paint in the upper lip. I'm just painting in that line that separates the lip from the skin above it. And from here, I'm going to use my skin texture template, add some texture over the top. So now that the texture's in, I'll go back to the AIRBRUSH Freehand and start spraying in some of the shadows and also glaze some paint over this whole area to darken it up and also give me something to erase into. In my experience, you could use that skin texture template before or after you add some paint on the canvas. It's really just personal preference and whatever you prefer. And then of course over to the eraser, erasing out some highlights and textures to the left of each shadow. I'll follow that exact same procedure for the lower lip, but this time as I'm erasing out the highlights on this lower lip, I'm going to pull them out a bit more than I normally would. The reason I want these bright is because I'm going to be spraying a red color right over the top of this, which is a thin transparent glaze of paint. This red is called Scarlet, and I'm going to be spraying it right out of the bottle. And since it's just a bit thicker than diluted paint, I'm going to bump my PSI up to around 25, 26. Since this paint is a bit thicker, this higher PSI will just help atomize the paint a bit better, and I'll avoid that graininess that you'll get at a lower PSI with the thicker paint. And I'm focusing this red color directly on the lips. I don't want to get it on the flesh tone, and it's a very bright color, so I want to make sure I use it sparingly. A little bit's going to go a long way here. When you glaze any color over an existing one, even if it's a light amount of paint like I did here, it's always going to darken up the area. So all I'm doing here is switching back over to my eraser and cleaning up those highlights again, brightening them up. So that's going to complete the third and final part to this portrait painting tutorial. I think I went over pretty much every technique that I know and used on this one, so I hope it was helpful to some of you out there. I will of course be adding more videos to the members page on this portrait so I can go into some more detail about the areas that I didn't cover in this 3-part series, like the chin, the hand, and the forehead. And that way, members, you can ask me any questions that you want or any problems you're having on this one, and then I'll get back to you and help you out. I want to say thank you and welcome to the newest channel members, AIRBRUSH Arts and Customs, Tokuji, and Fernando with a very generous tier 3. So thank you all so much for joining and welcome to the channel. And finally, I want to give a personal thank you to all the current channel members. That includes Hector, Mike, Peter C, Peter G, William, Rick, NH, Robin, Pascal, John, Adam, Jan, Christopher, Rick M. Webb, Leon, Mackie Mark, Mere Creative, SM, Cyril, Michael, Carl, Dwayne, Pete, Ken, M. Shibley, and of course Ralph. Thank you all so much. I hope you guys learned something. I hope you enjoyed this one, and I'll see you back here next week.